hello, I mean, I'm like, what man doesn't understand what I'm saying? And that's where we get into a bigger, broader subject about what me off about how pathetic this industry can be at times. Don't act like you don't agree with me. Don't act like you don't see, meaning you don't see what I'm saying. Don't act like I'm out of left field as a man.
So I assume that Mayweather was in a similar spot because he made so much cash. And if you invested even in common stocks, you should do pretty well. But I mean, listen, Mayweather never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say he can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read. And
Floyd Mayweather earned over $1 billion, but now faces lawsuits, debt rumors, and heavy criticism. Did reckless spending put his fortune at risk? Several high-profile voices have recently criticized Floyd Mayweather's financial decisions, raising concerns about how even billion-dollar earnings can disappear without smart planning.
Make sure you develop your own lobbyist, right? And it's an abundance of y'all. And y'all have the capital to influence government. But you're not thinking like that because it involves real work and it involves a real conscientious thought. RC might have that.
Stephen A. Smith strongly criticized Mayweather, saying that instead of reckless spending, he should have focused on saving wisely and building strong long-term investments. Smith even shared an old video from Mayweather's prime, where Floyd proudly displayed luxury cars, expensive watches, and lavish possessions inside his massive mansion, symbols of wealth that once defined his lifestyle.
This is a beautiful house, my man. How many square feet is this?
A little bit over 20,000 square feet, 3 or 4 levels.
Money Mayweather, seems appropriate that you would be living in Vegas.
My mentality is always about, working smarter, not harder.
I see that picture. Who is that?
And that's where it all started from.
That's you?
That's me. This picture is old school. I got the old school gloves on. And this is made of carpet, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm standing in a boxing ring in Grand Rapids, Michigan at Tawassee Boxing Club. That's where it all started from.
But you knew instantly you wanted to be a fighter.
That's all I knew. My whole life. That's all I knew.
What's your definition of toy?
Well, private jet.
Comedian Aries Spears also weighed in, referencing the financial struggles of Mike Tyson, warning that poor money management can affect even the greatest champions. Business expert Grant Cardone echoed similar concerns.
The jewelers, like these are the, one of the jewelers that supplies like all the other jewelers, right? And he told me that Mayweather is broke.
I keep hearing this.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true.
I don't think so.
But he said that based on his spending and so forth, this is why these fights are happening now. That he needs to make some money back. That the spending has outpaced the money that,
he's been retired.
Right.
And he's still, flying to Monaco with a bad bitch, buying up half the store.
Right. Always flying private.
Yeah.
Does he have his own plane?
Yeah, he does.
He does, right. So that's massively expensive. Even if you own it, the upkeep is huge. Right. Plus all the properties, all the property tax. Yeah, I mean, if you're not properly invested, because there was he was saying that he bought this building in the Diamond District, but people are saying that's, the same jeweler said that's actually not true.
Right.
So there's been a lot of stuff like that. Listen, I hope not, man, but I remember
Floyd Mayweather's got 22 million people following him. But is it any good? Like I don't know what it does with him. Like, does it do business with him? Does it transact with him? I know guys with big followings. But there's nothing happens as a result of the following.
So you on the is Floyd rich or is Floyd broke? Which side?
I don't know. I think Floyd ends up broke.
Ends up broke
if he doesn't. It's not a Floyd thing. It's not a Floyd thing. It's an asset thing. If you don't end up in assets, you end up broke.
Yeah.
So because you can't keep fighting forever.
So if Floyd was watching right now, what would you say to him?
Floyd, you need to spend as much time working on your investments as you do in Neiman Marcus or the Gucci store, the Fendi store.
He could just invest with you though, right?
He could invest to Cardone Capital. I would ensure that he's a billionaire.
Wow.
You cannot.
Stating that careless spending and weak investment choices can destroy long-term financial stability, no matter how much money someone earns. Meanwhile, academics reacted to reports claiming Mayweather allegedly had unpaid Merced's debts and other financial obligations, further fueling speculation about his financial situation. Financial analyst Wade Plemon noted that although Mayweather earned enormous amounts during his career, smarter financial planning could have secured his wealth for decades to come.
I want to let everybody know this. He said in 2021, every property I have is paid for. My jet, paid for. All my cars is paid for. I own $1 billion buildings. Everything is no longer paid for. They're exposing him, if you don't know. Mayweather took out millions of dollars in mortgages on his homes last year. A Business Insider review shows he also faced a string of lawsuits and liens that say he owes money for a Mercedes Maybach G-Wagon. Wait, they make Maybach G-Wagons? What the jet fuel, which obviously is for his jet, and garbage collection at his Las Vegas mansion. So it looks like they've pulled all his debt. At the same time, he's trumpeted a major entry into the big league. Commercialized real estate. Starting in the fall of 2024, Mayweather talked about spending blitz on commercial property in New York through his newly formed.
In liquidity, not much that he could actually spend, or at least that's what his representatives said. His representatives wrote back to the IRS, it's a true story, you guys can look it up, that he could not make the payment. He couldn't do it. He didn't have $22 million liquid in cash. For a guy that had made, up until that point, let's just say $900 million, because he made $300 million fighting Conor, he didn't have $22 million sitting around in a bank for all that cash he's flexing, for all those cars, for all the places. And again, I'm not saying that multi-millionaires and billionaires have $1 billion liquid, but you couldn't have found 22 mil. So his representative said, wait, we're going to have this fight and then he'll pay you after the fight.
Throughout his career, Mayweather has consistently presented himself as boxing's greatest figure, confidently claiming that no fighter matches his skill or legacy. While confidence is essential in sports, critics argue that his constant self-promotion and display of wealth sometimes comes across as arrogance, overshadowing his undeniable achievements inside the ring. Former fighter Chael Sonnen explained that Mayweather's situation highlights a bigger issue in boxing. Many elite fighters struggle financially after retirement. Fame fades, careers are short, and without careful planning or alternative income sources, even legends can face financial trouble.
That isn't broke. What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company, who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view. It is illegal for them to lie. You have never heard Time Warner, you've never heard Cox, you've never heard DirecTV.
Initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career in just earnings from fights.
Yeah, I think a question though that you should also ask, outside of like how much has he made, is how much has he spent? You know, because I would say he's fully capable of spending close to $1 billion in the last 25 years.
You say that, but I not to turn into the movie Brewster's Millions from the 1980s. It's hard to spend that money. It really is hard to spend that much money and end up in a situation where you have to fight at 49 because you're so used to a lifestyle that brings in giant amounts of money that the only way for you to make a giant amount of money.
Sports commentator Dan Le Batard added that as of February 2026, Mayweather has filed a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and executive Steven Espinoza, reportedly attempting to recover funds and stabilize his financial future. Over his legendary career, Mayweather earned more than $1.2 billion from fights alone, a staggering amount. But as critics point out, earning huge money is only half the battle.